Godzilla has fought countless monsters, shaped the entire planet in his image, and survived asteroid strikes. But did you know about the time Godzilla went to hell? Godzilla in Hell is a comic book series that debuted in summer of 2015, with a team of multiple writers and artists. Volume number 1 was both written and drawn by James Stokoe, and he started one of the most interesting Godzilla stories I've ever experienced. The description of the issue reads, Godzilla meets his greatest adversary of all time, the impossible tortures of hell. Each issue of this special mini-series will see Godzilla enter a new level of the underworld to do battle with the impossible. So let's get to it. Something that you will see with this comic series is that there are no words or dialogue to get in the way. It's pure Godzilla action. The story starts off with Godzilla falling down a hole, which is presumed to be the gateway to hell itself. The very next images we get are actually really creative ways of showcasing the series title. And then finally, Godzilla crashes to the floors of hell. Godzilla's mass alone was enough to create a crater in the surface, but the big guy just crawled out of it like he was waking up from a deep sleep, appearing to be rather confused as to where the hell he was. Godzilla turns around and notices a towering structure behind him. It reads, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." These words would make a lesser being cower in fear, but the Gman wasn't having any of the devil's games. With the ominous tower no longer standing, Godzilla was ready to take on this new world. After what must have felt like an eternity, Godzilla approached a strange-looking land full of awkward buildings and these guys, which I'll just call Moon Men. Godzilla appears to be confused by this weird city, but his mind quickly changes when he sees what looks to be nuclear reactors in the distance. No doubt starving for atomic energy, Godzilla approached the nearest smokestack and looked inside. Suddenly, a disgusting monstrous tentacle monster bursts out of the stack and does its best to violate Godzilla. This is Godzilla we are talking about though, and it's gonna take a whole lot more to take him down. After a quick and easy victory over the monstrosity, Godzilla was on his way to see what else hell had in store for him. On the horizon, a new mysterious mass forms. It appears to be some sort of storm, but upon a closer look, Godzilla soon realizes this is no ordinary storm. The cloud is actually made up of millions of lost human souls, probably from all the lives that the monster had ended over the decades. The mass charges Godzilla, slamming into him, forcing the G-Man to slide backwards. Godzilla never skips leg day though, so he was able to hold his ground until the human storm passed. Upon regaining his composure, Godzilla was shocked at what he's seen next. How could it be? Another Godzilla trapped in this hell? He had to investigate. There was something wrong with this Godzilla though. It had these strange scars all over its body, and the look on its face, it was unnatural. Godzilla came in close to this weird being, and then it happened. What was once something that looked like Godzilla was suddenly a terrifying and disturbing monster, leaving Godzilla with one of the best "oh shit" faces of all time. The monster lashed out at Godzilla, grabbing one of his arms with his tentacle. With Godzilla constrained, the hell monster was able to throw him around back and forth like a ragdoll, pounding Godzilla into the ground time after time until he had enough of that shit. A well-aimed atomic blast broke Godzilla free and he crashed down hard against this new foe. The monster's tricks were not over. Two new arms burst from its flesh, grabbing Godzilla on both of his shoulders, then throwing him hundreds of feet. Before Godzilla could recover, the monster gripped around his neck and once again got a hold of his entire body. This is when Godzilla got that look in his eye, that kind of look that he normally gets when the Akira Fukubi infamous soundtrack kicks in. You know what's about to happen. Godzilla reaches a full-out rage mode and bursts out with speed so intense that even the hell monster was not prepared. All of a sudden, Godzilla was somehow inside the creature's giant mouth, purposefully forcing himself inside the monster's belly. Why, you may be asking? The king had won, but what he didn't know was that this was only the first test of his punishment in hell. The ground began to rumble, and then out of nowhere the surface rushed out from underneath the Gman, and he was left falling once again, even deeper into hell. The first issue of Godzilla in Hell was one that had me hooked almost instantly. Too often in these comic stories, the pages are crowded with so much boring dialogue that I sometimes find myself skimming over the pages instead of taking it all in, which of course is the point of it. Godzilla in Hell never had this issue with me. I love how Godzilla gets startled throughout the issue, but every time he always manages to regain his will and composure and come out on top. They nailed the heart and soul of Godzilla, and although there wasn't much fighting in this issue, the final battle with the tentacle monster thing was exciting enough to get my blood going. We could learn a thing or two from the G-Man. The art style was well done in my opinion. Godzilla looked like Godzilla, and the dark tones set up a hell that I haven't seen before. The graphic and, well, demented vibe of the style was perfect for a feature on Godzilla in Hell. I looked hard to find an issue with this volume, but I really couldn't find anything. I guess I would have liked to have known why he was sent to hell, but maybe that will come up in the next issues. Speaking of the next issue, please let me know if you want me to continue covering the Godzilla in Hell comics series. Just vote with your comments down below, residents. And if this does well enough, I'll get working on volume 2 as soon as I can. I'd like to share the entire story with you guys. So residents, I hope you had a good time with this story. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure and keep coming back to Dangerville. As always, this has been Jacob, and peace out.